My oldest son recently completed Apologia's Exploring Creation with Advanced Biology, and I wanted to share a flip through and review of that with you today. So like I said, my son, who was in grade 11 when he did this course, recently completed it. And I wanted to give you a look at the different components of it, as well as then I'll come back and share my thoughts and as well as his thoughts on it. This is the second edition, which is the one that is currently available through Apologia. So I'm going to turn the camera around and give you a look. So here is the main textbook for the course. It is a soft cover one, but you can see it is well worn already. That's how thick it is. Let's see, how many pages is it? Ooh, 570 something pages. It's a thick book, and there are the tabs here so you can find things. So if you're unfamiliar with this course, it is a high school level course, and it is set up like many of the other Apologia courses. So it starts off by talking about instructional support. So it talks about all the different, like the textbook like this and the notebook I'll show you. You can also get it in audiobook form. There is a video instruction course portion that you can get as well. And there is also, you can do the course online. So the book starts off by talking about those options. And then it goes into like the student notes and just knowing about it. So it talks about there's 16 modules. It should take about 2 weeks for each module, how long you should take to complete each day. The different components like the on your own and the study guide. There's also the solutions manual, talking about experiments, laboratory equipment. And then there is also a code that comes in all of Apologia's books, I've just covered it up, that you put in, and it gives you extras particular to this course chapter by chapter, which can be really helpful. Then we jump into the table of contents. So like I said, there's 16 modules. The first is Introduction to Anatomy and Physiology, Histology, I'm not sure which one, Study of Tissues, integumentary and skeletal systems. I know I'm saying that wrong. The skeletal system, histology and movement, the muscular system, the skeletal muscle system, the nervous system, the central nervous system, the peripheral nervous system, the endocrine system, the cardiovascular system, lots of systems, lymphatic system, digestive system, respiratory system, the urinary system, and the reproductive systems. And then at the back of the book, you're going to find the appendix with the glossary, lab supplies, and index. So there's the welcome. I'll give you a look at what it looks like for the first module here. You can see it's in color. They do have words in bold that are like they're the key words for the unit. There's the think about this. There's different graphs. This is one of the on your own section. Think about it. The coloring book, which I'll show you, and on your own. Think about it. There's the main section. So this is what it looks like. Let's just get to the end of this one. You can see how long it is. Here is the answers to the on your own questions that were in there. And then you have your study guide for the module. And then you move on to module 2. So I'll just do a quick flip through here. I can, heave this book. It is a big book. So you can see it's pretty consistent throughout what it looks like, what the writing, the different sections look like. It's kind of hard to flip through this one. Hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea. So that's the main book that you need to do this course. Then there's the student notebook. So this is what the student is going to write in, and it goes along with the book. I'll show you here the beginning. It does a quick table of contents. So it's divided up. You have your modules in the beginning, and then you have your experiments for the modules and your case studies, and then appendix at the back. It talks about what to expect, how to use it, how to make effective notes, video instruction, and then it comes with a schedule. So this is a 5-day-a-week schedule. So if you want to go ahead, you can just use this, which my son did. It just makes life easier. 34 weeks. You can just see everything there, but I mean, you can do what you want for it. It gives information about marking and the rubrics for experiments. I didn't write in this part here. I kept track somewhere else. The grade recording charts for the modules, and then it jumps in. So you can see some of his notes. So there's places for notes. This is the on your own questions that were in the other book. So they actually have them written here and they have a space to answer them. They also have the study guide questions. So again, it's already written here and they can just write directly onto the book. And then module 2, same thing. So I'll show you. This is module 16, let's see. It's set up the same way for each one. All the parts are the same. And then in the back here, so these are the experiments. Let's go back. Oh, these are the quarterly reviews. They are also in this book. It's the only place that they come. So I will show you the rest of the tests are separate, but the quarterly reviews, because they consider them to be optional, they're actually in this book. And then the answers for them were in the back of the book. My son didn't want to have the answers in the book, so I took them out and kept them with my answers. But that's what the answer key looks like. These are the experiments. So there's a place to explain all of it: supplies, purpose, procedure. There's stuff for them to fill out. So he was looking at some of the slides here and he had to draw them and say what magnification and stuff. I'll just give you a quick flip through of that. There's the appendixes around the back. You can see some of what he did there. Okay, so that is the student book and the quarterly answer key. Then there is this book here, which is the answer key as well, and it comes with the tests. So the tests come in a little book. I just took them out. My son answered them on a piece of paper, so if I have another child, they will be able to do this course. But these are what the tests look like. And they go all the way. There's one for each module. And in this book here, the way it works is first they have the solutions to the study guide. And then they will have the actual test again in here. And it does have how to grade and stuff in the beginning. This is the test, the same one I just showed you. They have it in here as well. And then these are the answers to the test. And so what's underlined is the answer that they need to have. So that's what it looks like. And it goes through the entire book like that, all the way to module 16. So this whole book is set up in the exact same way. All right, then the next part. This Kaplan Anatomy coloring book is, it's not required, but it's integrated with the book. It will say do this page, this section on certain days. So I went ahead and got it. It has these tear out cards that he had to do certain things with, color different parts, and for memorization. I'll show you. So he had to color different muscles. This is talking about what's on the other side. So that's what the cards look like. Now the coloring book, he didn't use the entire coloring book. Like I said, it was go to this page, do this certain part. I'll just flip through real quick here. You can see he's colored and labeled some of it. think this was probably pretty helpful because it really gives good detail. But you can see like he didn't do all of it. So like he's doing the different parts of the foot, the different bones. So he did that. Let's see. Yeah, I would say a good 75% or more is done, but not every single page. Okay, and the last thing are the lab kits. So here are how the slides come in this little box. There's 16 of them. And they're pre-done slides so that they go along with the course. So this one is human bone tissue. I'll just pick some random ones. Human testes. Lovely. This one here. Human mouth smear. So there is the need for a microscope in this case, or in this class. I imagine there must be some way you could avoid that, but I highly recommend that you just have the children learn the skills to use the microscope and to know how to use these slides. So that is everything that we got with it. Now I'll share my thoughts on it. The other part that we had purchased that I don't have here to show you is a blood sample kit because it was used, as well as the dissection specimens because they were used. So I believe it was a cow eyeball, cow heart, and a fetal pig were the 3 dissections, if I'm remembering correctly. And you also need the tools to do the dissections as well. So let me start off by kind of talking about why my son did this course. So my son wanted to go into the medical field in university, and this was a course that a lot of the schools we looked at were requiring as a prerequisite. I couldn't find an advanced biology kind of anywhere else. It was really the only one I could find. My son did friendly biology instead of Apologia biology, so I was a little worried about how that would kind of play out, but it seems like it was just fine. He was fully prepared for it, and it worked out well. I did have a few qualms about Apologia. I have a love-hate relationship with Apologia, honestly. Not a huge fan of how much Christian content there is in it. I feel like it's a little bit too much. I also have some issues with the business side of it, but then I do like how independent it is. So needless to say, we went ahead and he did this course. So I asked my son to write down some pros and cons that he felt about the course, and so I have the list here. So he felt like it covered a wide variety of topics, which was what he needed to learn. He really liked the microscope guide. He called them the microscope guides. So he felt like those were really interesting. I will, just as a side note, link the microscope we have down below because we've had it for a few years and we really enjoy it. We wanted one that had like the LCD screen on it for a few reasons, one of which a number of us wear glasses and it's just easier that way, and it's held up great. So if you want to know which one it is, I'll link it down below. And he felt like the whole course was explained not simply, but in a way that was easy to learn and easy to understand, and that was his list of pros. Now his list of cons. He felt like it was too much information too quickly. So he would have preferred like 18 or 20 modules, spread out a little bit more, a little bit slower. Also, oh yeah, the coloring book, this one here, that the pages didn't match up with what it said in the textbook. I have a feeling that has to do with the edition. We had the 8th edition. They currently recommend the 9th edition with it, but I think it's from an older edition. It just takes a little bit of extra time to figure out which pages. Not the biggest deal. He wishes it was clear what was going to be covered on the quizzes or the tests, because I think he means that sometimes they would talk, focus on something in a module, but there was very little on the test about it. And then kind of likewise, there would be maybe something on the test that they had talked very little about in the module. He also said the definitions in the book, and on the test are slightly different. So I noticed this too as I was marking that the way something is defined is not the same all throughout, that it would be defined one way in the book, which is then the answer to the study guide, but then the test, it's slightly different. And overall, you know, it means the same thing, but when you're having to memorize all these different terms, and specific body processes and the order of it, it makes it a little bit harder when it's not consistent throughout. And then he felt like the specimens were not of very good quality, and I understand this too, what he means. So I feel like maybe they had just been vacuum sealed and in formaldehyde for a long time, because he did struggle with them a bit. So let me back up a bit. When he was doing the dissections, he found it was a little difficult to understand the steps in the book. And so we looked up the dissections online on YouTube, and he would follow a dissection through there in conjunction with the book. The specimens that were in those videos were always so much better and easier to dissect and to find particular parts. Whereas the ones he had, sometimes it was just very, very hard. It was kind of like things had been maybe disintegrating a bit or like mashed together a bit. Sounds so gross. So I understand what he means about that too. So then my thoughts. I've already talked about the company and why we chose it. It is a good course. I feel like for a high school course, it's very well done. It covers so much material. And if your child wants to go to university or college, it's gonna prepare them for it, definitely. It is an expensive course. So I wrote down everything we bought and the cost. These are just estimates, and they're Canadian dollars. So for the course book, the tests, and the answer key was about $150. The blood sample, blood testing kit, and the slides for the microscope were $140. The specimens for dissecting were $140. I had purchased the tools secondhand, so I'm not including that cost here. The coloring book was about $40. Student notebook was about $45. So all of that is $515. But if you add shipping and taxes, it was over $600 for this course. So it is not a cheap course. It is expensive, and I do find that to be the course with Apologia, especially through the high school years. I have 5 children. I'm sure at least one of them is going to use this course later on. So I don't know. It is what it is. We had the money. We were blessed to have the money to pay for it. And so we got it, but I can see how that could be a hindrance to other people. So I think I've covered everything. Hopefully I have. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section down below, or if I missed something. I really do make these videos to try and give you as much information about a course to decide if it's something that would work for your family or not. So try not to miss anything. Let me know if you've used the course as well and what you or your child thought of it. Otherwise, though, I hope this finds you having a great day. Take care.